In this video, I want to take a look at algebraic fractions. So this is the first year material here on algebraic fractions for A-level maths. So in the first year material, all we're concerned with here is simplifying algebraic fractions. Now, for many of you, you'll probably find this video nice and straightforward, and it's probably not going to be worth your time watching this. However, if you do feel like you need a bit of a refresher here on simplifying algebraic fractions, then hopefully this video will give you a bit of a hand and get you on the right path for simplifying algebraic fractions. So I'm not going to go through any kind of introduction here. I'll discuss this in detail. Let's just work through some questions here on simplifying algebraic fractions. So starting off with question 1 here, I've got this function f of x. So let me just write down this function here to begin with. So f of x is equal to x squared plus ax plus 12. That's all over x squared minus 3x minus 10. So if I want to show that this function here f of x can be expressed in this form here, in other words, I want to simplify this algebraic fraction here, what I need to do is factorize the numerator, factorize the denominator here, and then identify any common factor. Then we can cancel from there. And hopefully once we do that, we're going to obtain something in this form here. So if I start by factorizing the numerator here, this would factorize into double brackets. So I'm going to get a bracket here and a bracket here. We'll get an x at the front of both of these brackets here. And hopefully this factorization is nice and straightforward. So what I'm going to get here is x plus 2 and x plus 6 there. Okay. Now, before I even factorize the denominator here, what I would expect is I'm going to either get an x plus 2 or an x plus 6 within the denominator here, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to cancel down and obtain something in this form here. Okay. So now if I factorize the denominator here, what I'm going to get then again is double brackets. So what I get here is x plus 2 and x minus 5. Okay. And what I notice now is we have an x plus 2 here in the numerator and an x plus 2 in the denominator. So we can cancel those. What I get left with now is x plus 6 over x minus 5. Okay, like so. And notice now we've got it in the correct form here. So f of x is equal to x plus 6 over x minus 5. So now we can identify the values of a and b here. So therefore, a is equal to 6 and b is equal to minus 5. And there we have it. So that gives the solution there to question 1. Moving on to question 2 here, we're asked to simplify fully this algebraic fraction here. So the method is the exact same here. All I'm going to do to begin with is factorize the numerator. I'm then going to factorize the denominator. I'm then going to identify the common factors here. And from there, we can cancel down and obtain a simplified form of this algebraic fraction here. So to begin with, I'm just going to write down the algebraic fraction here that we can see. So I've got 3x squared plus 2x minus 8, like so. That's all over 2x squared plus 9x plus 10. So like we said here, we want to factorize the numerator and factorize the denominator here. Now, what makes this question a little bit more challenging than the previous question is these quadratics are a bit more challenging to actually factorize, but it's nothing that's, too complicated here. Again, we're just going to get double brackets for both the numerator and the denominator. So if I start by factorizing the numerator here, again, getting my double brackets here. So if I factorize this quadratic here, I get 3x minus 4. So 3x minus 4 there. And then this bracket here, I'm going to get x plus 2. Like so. Now, again, just like we saw for the previous question here, I know in the denominator here, I'm going to either get a 3x minus 4 or an x plus 2, because I need to get one of those to be able to actually simplify the algebraic fraction. Okay. And hopefully you recognize that I can't get 3x minus 4 here. Okay. Because my x squared term, the coefficient here is 2. If I had a 3x minus 4 here in my denominator, then this quadratic would have to be at least 3x squared. Okay, so I definitely won't be getting a 3x minus 4 in the denominator, so that would mean then I'm going to get an x plus 2 here. So let's actually just factorize this quadratic here and see what we get. So again, I'm going to get double brackets here. So in this case, I get 2x plus 5. I get 2x plus 5. And then like we said here, we get x plus 2. Okay. So from here, I can now identify the common factors. I've got an x plus 2 here in the numerator. I've got an x plus 2 here in the denominator. So what that leaves me with here then is 3x minus 4 over 2x plus 5 there. Okay. Now, all we have to do there is simplify fully. We don't want to get it into, any kind of special form or identify any constants here. So there we have it. It's like there's the solution there to question 2. Moving on to the very last question now, where we want to simplify fully. 32y squared minus 2 over 4y squared minus 31y minus 8. So to begin with here, I'm just going to write down this algebraic fraction. So we've got 32y squared minus 2. And that's all over 4y squared minus 31y minus 8. So to simplify this algebraic fraction here, just like we've done for the previous two questions, now we're going to start by factorizing the numerator, factorize the denominator, identify those common factors, and then we can cancel down. So if I start with the numerator here, the only thing I can do here to begin with is factor out a 2. I get 2 lots here. I want to get 16y squared minus 1. So if I factorize now the denominator here, I've got 4y squared minus 31y minus 8. Factorizing this, we get 4y plus 1. We get 4y plus 1 and y minus 8. So y minus 8 there. Now, when I look at this algebraic fraction here, there isn't any common factors at this point here. So that would suggest to me there's some further factorization here that can be performed. And in this case here, I notice now with the numerator, so this 16y squared here minus 1, that's actually the difference of 2 squares. So we can factorize this further. So now I get 2 lots of 4y plus 1 times 4y minus 1. And that's all over 4y plus 1 times y minus 8. Like so. And then from here, now I can identify the common factors. So I've got a 4y plus 1 here in the numerator, a 4y plus 1 here in the denominator. So we can cancel those. And then what I get left here then with is 2 lots. So 2 lots of 4y minus 1 all over y minus 8 there. Okay. And there we have it. So that's our solution. That's its simplified form, or fully simplified. And that gives the solution there to the very last question. And that brings the end of this video on algebraic fractions.